Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Read Latin, where we read Latin together and get into the story. What happened last week was an old man appeared to Aeneas in his sleep. Now the narrator says that he is the god of this place, the pleasant river Tiberinus himself, and he addressed Aeneas with the following words. So let's get into what's he going to say to Aeneas. O sate gente deum, Troianam ex hostibus urbem, qui revehis nobis aeternaque pergama servas. Ooh, okay. O sate. He starts by addressing Aeneas directly. O sate, O offspring, O one sprung from gente deum, from the gens of the gods, from the race of the gods. Troianam ex hostibus urbem, qui revehis. Okay. Qui, you who revehis, who vehicles back, transports back, who brings back, carries back. The Troianam urbem, the Trojan city, ex hostibus, out of the enemies, from the enemies. You who brings back Trojan city from the enemies, nobis, to us. So you're bringing back to us, we Italians, us Italians, the Trojan city, aeternaque pergama servas, and you who servas. So servas, we get our word conserve, conservation, protect, keep, save, that kind of meaning. You who save, who protects, the aeterna pergama. Now, Pergama, we've got a number of ancient cities called Pergamon in what is now modern-day Turkey, but here it refers to the citadel of Troy. And Pergama, the citadel of Troy, is described as aeterna. So aeterna is eternal, the eternal citadel of Troy. Troy's everlasting citadel, you protect. Expectate solo laurenti arvisque latinis. Expectate looks like an imperative, but it's actually a participle and would have been expectatus, but now it's in the vocative. You who have hoped for. You who have hoped for the solo laurenti, the Laurentine soil. Arvisque latinis, and Latin arbums. So an arbum is a cultivated field, ploughed land. I'm just going to translate it as fields. You have hoped for the Laurentine soil and Latin fields. Hic tibi certa domus, certi ne absiste penates. Hic, that could be here. It could be here, or it could be this, except that there's nothing for this to agree with. So I'm going to translate it here. Here, certa domus. Now we know that domus is home, dwelling, that kind of place, like your home place. It means more of a home than referring to something as a building would, like a villa or a casa. Here, home, certa though. So certa is certain, assured. Here, the assured home, tibi, for you, or it could be of you, since it could be a possessive dative. Here will be your certain home, or here is your certain home. Certi penates. And he adds that on as well, the certi penates. Now we remember that the penates are the household gods that Aeneas so famously carried out of Troy. Now, here will be the certain household gods, or you could say household shrines. Your assured household shrines will be here, or are here. Ne absiste. Now that's in the brackets, being a little sort of aside. Don't you go away. Don't leave here. Come here. This is where you're meant to be. Ne absiste. Don't even think about getting away now, because this is where you are destined. Neo belli terrere minis. tumor omnis et irae concessere Deum. Neo bele. So neo is nor, like and not. And not terere, a sort of passive imperative. Do not be terrified. Do not be afraid. Of what though? The minis. Do not be terrified by the threats, by the menaces of belly, of war. Tumor. Now that's an interesting word. It means a swelling, like tumor, a swelling, but it's also commotion, the kind of foment of excitement. The commotion, the omnis commotion, all the commotion, et irae, and anger, Deum, of the gods. So it's shortened from Deorum, which is very common. All the anger and also all the commotion and anger of the gods, concessere. So that should be concesserunt, but it's also been shortened. They have given way. They have gone away, departed. So all the swelling, all the commotion and anger of the gods has given way. So here is promising favour from the gods, which of course, if you've read the rest of the Aeneid, you know that how much turmoil has been put in because of gods like especially Juno, and sometimes in passing there was Alecto the Fury. But here is the promise that all the commotion and anger of the gods has given way. Jamque tibi ne vana putes haec fingere somnum. What's he warning there? What's he preventing us from thinking here? And now, jamque tibi, for you, to you. Now, as for you, ne vana putes haec fingere somnum. So ne putes. Putes is from puto putare, so that's a subjunctive. Lest you think that somnum haec fingere is what I would like to have the words in, the order that I'd like the words in. Lest you think that the dream, fingere, devises, makes up. We get our word fiction from fingere. Lest you think that this dream devised haec these things, vana, empty, in vain. So we could say, lest you think this dream was all empty fiction. Litores ingens inventa sub ilicibus sus triginta capitum fetus enixa jacebit. Okay, we've got a sus in this line, and that's of course the cover image of this series. So an ingens sus though, a huge pig. But the sus is inventa, found. And inventa tells us that that's feminine sus. So a huge sow found sub ilicibus litores. So under the shoreline, because litores is like of the coast. So the shoreline ilex trees. And the ilex trees are the holm oak trees or holly oak trees, a Mediterranean oak tree that's evergreen and very sort of like Mediterranean. A huge sow found under the holm oak trees of the shore. Enixa is from aenitor, which means having given birth, having brought forth fetus. Well, we get our word fetus from it. Fetus are children, little offspring, capitum triginta. So triginta capitum is literally of 30 heads. But it's describing how many, of course, how many children that she's just had, having given birth to a litter of 30 piglets. And jacebit, finally the main verb, will lie down. So we have a huge sow found under the shoreline holm oak trees will lie, having brought forth a litter of 30 piglets. Alba solo recubans, albi circ uberanati. Alba, of course, describing the Zeus, the white sow. So white, recubans, reclining. You can use this word for reclining at dinner. But here it is, she is reclining, all just carefree, reclining in rest, solo, on the soil, on the earth, on that soil, of course, that Aeneas will be building his place. Reclining white on the soil, albi circubre nati. Now, nati, also from sort of that nunc-hiscor kind of verb, having been born, but it's very commonly used for children or offspring. Her albi nati, her white offspring, circum ubera, are around her teats. Okay, so does that make sense? A huge sow found under the shoreline holm oak trees will lie, having brought forth a litter of 30 piglets, reclining white on the soil, her white offspring around her teats. Yes. Do you remember the name of the settlement that Aeneas and his line will found? Wasn't it called Alba Longa? So here we have a reference to Alba, white, and it's also got the idea of shining brightness, of purity and illustriousness. One thing that we take for granted now is white pigs. Pretty much all of our bacon pigs are white. That is, they look pink, but they have sort of fine white fur. In ancient times, white pigs were a lot rarer. If you look at the heritage breeds of pigs, a lot of them are brown or black, or have a white stripe over them. But a pure white pig is something that you have to have bred for, or it was a chance of nature. And I think that here, white sow with 30 piglets is quite an amazing sight to behold, given that pigs only have about, is it 8 teats? Well, there's a crowd of 30 piglets just crowding her around. Alright, we'll end that there with the prophecy of the white sow. Tune in next time for more portents about Rome building